particular actuator goes from one position to the other. So that you have to, when they design aircraft, they ensure that the volumes, regardless of the actuator position, whatever displacement that the actuators produce can be captured back into the reservoir. I've got an old Grumman document that shows there might be 30 different actuators that are used in this Grumman aircraft, and it shows you the displacement of each of the actuators. And again, it's impossible by design to have the actuators in any particular configuration and cause the reservoir to overflow. Question?
Well, yeah, so I was just going to say, basically, when you design the system, the engineers are having to calculate for where everything is extended using as much fluid as possible. You still have to have extra.
In any particular configuration, you're not going to
all the
overflow it.
That sounds like a difficult task.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they have to consider whatever the volumes might be. The components. You're going to need a tank, and again, I think if you might look in Part 23, you might get the design of aircraft components. I understand Part 23 has undergone revision, but they might still provide some information for design of hydraulic tanks in there. Many reservoirs contain internal baffles or fins. These are projections from the walls of, inside of the reservoir. The primary purpose of baffles or fins is to minimize the movement of hydraulic fluid. It slows it down. It works in order to kind of steady the hydraulic fluid. So they get baffles or fins on the inside of it. A secondary feature of baffles and fins, it provides for additional strength in the reservoir. The reservoir walls by nature are kind of weak without some kind of internal support. So the baffles or fins provide a little bit of rigidity to the tank. But again, the primary purpose, it prevents random fluid movement. You might want to remember that. That's the answer to one of the test questions I've got on an exam. Many reservoirs also can have what's called a deaeration plate. Not all of them do, but some of them do. And it provides for the fluid to circulate through like louvered slots in the top of a reservoir in order to provide additional opportunity to separate air. So again, you may find a deaeration plate in a reservoir. Not all of them, but some of them. Many of them, all of them will have to have an outlet port, not just one, but sometimes multiple. If you're feeding multiple pumps from a common reservoir, you'll have more than one outlet port. You'll have to have a return port. The return port provides for the termination of the return manifold, so all the fluid coming back into the reservoir